stockbroker Peter Schiff says Reddit users are getting smarter. He said silver stocks are actually cheap and represent good investment value. The fact that some investors were foolish enough to short these stocks makes their trade even better.
And Peter Schiff told me today could be the best day ever for silver sales at Schiff Gold. A lot of smaller buyers and a lot of new customers. I asked him then, what makes this any different from the GameStop rally?
Silver is a totally different story. Silver is undervalued. I mean, it's way undervalued. And up recently, it was historically cheap in relation to gold. And there is a relatively significant short in the silver market that eventually is going to be forced to cover. I don't know if they're going to be forced to cover now, but I think they will eventually, especially in the futures market, where you have all this paper silver that's traded. People are on the hook to deliver it, but they never have to because the longs never actually want the silver. They're just content to take their paper profits or roll the contracts to the next month. But one of these days, all the people who have bought these contracts are going to actually want delivery. They're going to want the actual silver, and the people who have shorted the contracts are not going to be able to deliver. They're going to have to go into the market to try to buy the silver to deliver it, and it's just not there. And so the price will go up a lot. But people should be buying silver. I think silver stocks for people who are more speculative, I think there's a lot of upside potential there. So I would definitely encourage people to buy into silver, be a little bit more cautious. Don't just run at the market with a market order, and just, get a bad execution, because if everybody tries to buy at once, they jack up the price. So be a little bit more patient, look for some pullbacks, and then, buy a position for yourself. But this is much different than, again, GameStop. I'm worried about all the people who are going to lose money there. I'm not worried about people buying silver as long as they hold on to it. I mean, some people, maybe they rush in to buy it and then it goes down a bit, pulls back 10 or 20%. They get scared and they sell. Don't be scared. Just don't throw it all in at once. And if you get a pullback, well, average down and buy more, because you're building a position in an undervalued commodity that I think is going to go way up over the next several years.
And what will it take for this day of reckoning to come where people start to ask for their physical silver?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it could happen at any time, I suppose. But, it hasn't happened yet. So sometimes people, get complacent. Just because something hasn't happened doesn't mean it won't happen. I mean, obviously, there's an old saying, Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And clearly, that's what happened to the people who were short GameStop. I mean, nobody expected this, but it happened. And, the people that are short silver are not expecting to be forced to deliver it. But, sometimes things happen that you don't expect.
Last question, Peter. Do you feel, looking at what's happened with the GameStop, maybe even with the silver in this particular short window, it looks a little bit like a pump and dump, at least today. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Do you feel that some of these retail traders are being taken for a ride?
Well, that's what I said at the beginning. I mean, it is a pump and dump. There's no question about it. It's just that some people don't recognize that it's a pump and dump. And not all the pumpers are in on it, right? There are a lot of people who actually believe that they're going to make money, or there are people who don't care if they lose money because they're fighting for a cause, right? It's like it's a just cause, and if we have to lose money to stick it to the Wall Street fat guys, well, we're willing to do it. But as I said, behind the scenes, I believe there is a calculated effort by some people who want to make a lot of money, and the way they're doing it is by suckering in all these small investors to force them to get the hedge funds to cover their shorts so that the price can go way up so that they can dump the shares that they already own, right? So you buy a bunch of stock in GameStop, and then once you've got a position, then you start encouraging other people to buy. And your goal is just to sell what you own, right? But you don't come out and say that. You don't say, hey, guys, why don't you help me make a lot of money? Because who's going to want to do that? No one's going to lose money just to help some other rich guy get richer. But if you turn it into a cause, and it's like the little guy against corrupt Wall Street, but you also can convince unsophisticated people that, hey, we can squeeze these shorts and the stock price is going to go up and you're going to make a lot of money. People don't realize you don't make the money until you sell. And just because your brokerage statement says that the stock has got this high price, it doesn't mean anything until you sell it. And the problem is when you have all these little guys that are now going to have these brokerage accounts and they have these big paper profits, when they all want to get out to actually realize those profits and now go buy something, the profits won't be there because all the selling will collapse the price because there are no real buyers there because the prices are too high. No real investor is going to overpay for these stocks. So when the short squeezers want out, there's nobody to get in.